Hello, I'm Philip Brown. I'm the Secretary of the United Nations Association Coventry branch. Today is the 31st of May 2020, and we're going to talk about the World No Tobacco Day. And I'm going to be joined by Elena Miron, who's one of the United Nations Association Coventry branch volunteers.
I used to smoke. So
I used to smoke too, many years ago.
It's not good.
So how much did you used to smoke? How many cigarettes? Were you
a lot? And I started when I was like in 6th grade.
What age was that?
I guess it was 12.
12?
Yeah. Unfortunately, my mom, my whole family is smoking. Like it was like a thing. So I was literally living in the smoke. So it was like a normal kind of thing. And then in my country,
you didn't smoke in front of your parents, though, I guess, did you?
Yeah. Well, my mom knew anyway. It was a fancy thing, though. It is still considered a fancy thing to do. It's like more like a socializing kind of thing. So everyone that goes out, it is a thing in my country. It is absolutely a thing where you go out and you have to smoke to kind of get, in the same areas that other people do. It's just, yeah. I told my mom, like, why don't you for today not smoke any cigarette? What do you think about that? And she's like, oh no, because you're the child. I should tell you things. And I'm like, okay.
But I mean, when I started smoking, I found it quite unpleasant. I mean, it wasn't a nice thing to do. You had to learn. I had to learn anyway. It took me a while to overcome all the horrible tastes, and I can't remember exactly what, but I know I didn't enjoy it. And then eventually you become addicted to it and you can't stop.
No, you can't stop, yeah.
So this was, I don't know, 30 years ago or something. I went to the doctors and said I want to stop smoking. And there was no help. I was offered absolutely no help at all. And the only way I eventually gave up smoking was because I was so poor, I couldn't afford to eat and smoke at the same time. And I started saving up to buy my wife a coat. And it was either the coat or the cigarettes. And
nice. Very nice.
How did you give up?
It was because of the environment. Like, it's not the fact that I didn't like it. It felt very good while I was in my country and like socializing, and you had to have it. So the memories that I have about cigarettes are good still, right? I don't have bad, and I was poor too, but like with a friend of mine or like that, we could put like half, and then we can have cigarettes. It was okay in that sense, like that. But when I came here, the cigarettes are way too expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Way too. I mean, and I gave up because I care about kind of the environment in a way or another. So that's why I gave up on meat too.
Okay.
Just I didn't like meat in my life, really. I didn't really love it that much. But
so the UK put the prices of tobacco up significantly, and that actually cut down the number of smokers. So now, I don't know what the figures are, but we've got significantly lower smoking rates than many other countries.
And I gave up like gradually. I couldn't give up like for one. So I did smoke a little bit of e-cigarettes. Yeah. And that actually helped me to not feel the need anymore to just go crazy. And I had it whenever I wanted it. So you could be inside, you could be outside, you can smoke anywhere, because that is like very, it just gives out very less smoke. And yeah.
So it wasn't very long ago that you stopped?
No, it was not very long ago.
So do you think you might start again?
No.
Good.
No, I don't think so, because I have too many things to look out for. I don't know, in the future. So it doesn't work for what I want to do in the future and how I want to be in the future, and to smoke, it doesn't. Yeah, no one is gonna believe me that I care about the environment if I, it's something like that, and I'm not gonna believe myself either. So yeah, I hope this is a struggle, though. The cigarettes are a struggle. It is exactly like alcohol and any other
Yeah,
drug.
it's an addiction.
Yeah.
Okay, the World Health Organization's main page for World No Tobacco Day.
Mm-hmm.
And it says this yearly celebration informs the public on the dangers of using tobacco, the business practices of tobacco companies, what World Health Organization is doing to fight the tobacco epidemic, and what people around the world can do to claim their right to health and healthy living and to protect future generations.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just to talk about that for a minute, the dangers of using tobacco, I mean, the health risks. So in the UK, and I guess in other countries as well, the government puts images of the health, the health effects, injured lungs and different images on tobacco packets in order to try and frighten people off. And that didn't work. That wasn't what made people stop. So the public are aware of the dangers, but that doesn't make them stop.
Yeah.
I think it wasn't until, I'm not sure exactly, but I think it wasn't until they started putting the price up that the number of people smoking went down. So they do this every year. This website hasn't been updated. It talks about 2019. So a second page deals with this year. And this year they're protecting youth from the tobacco, from industry manipulation and preventing them, well, it's not even written in English, and preventing them from tobacco and nicotine use. I guess that might be English. I would say stopping them using tobacco and nicotine.
Yeah.
So the tobacco industry is exploiting young people, basically. And as older people stop smoking, they try to replace that missing market by selling to or getting younger people hooked. So what it says is that for decades, the tobacco industry has deliberately employed strategic, aggressive, and well-resourced tactics to attract youth to tobacco and nicotine products. Internal industry documents reveal in-depth research and calculated approaches designed to attract a new generation of tobacco users, from product design to marketing campaigns aimed at replacing the millions of people who die each year. Oh yeah, so people die from tobacco-attributed diseases, and that's why they need to keep getting new addicts hooked on it. So they target young people. In response to the tobacco and related industries' systematic, aggressive and sustained tactics to attract a new generation of tobacco users, World No Tobacco Day will provide a counter-marketing campaign and empower young people to engage in the fight against big tobacco. Well, I mean, in the UK, tobacco advertising is banned on television and certain many other forums.
Yeah, but there is the smoking that contains tobacco, and that is like I think, I don't know if they mentioned, but obviously it is now much more attractive to anyone, to be honest with you. The fact that you have it's like claimed that tobacco it's in oils, and it's okay to use it because it's like the vape is safer, and it doesn't, it doesn't burn and it's okay. I mean, obviously the tobacco industry, the cigarettes industry, is trying to make it as tech as possible, so they can attract more people.
And there's little risk to health. I mean, they're trying to reduce the risk.
But I don't think so.
Well, I think that, when you burn tobacco, it generates carcinogen chemicals. There are I don't know how many. There are many chemicals in the smoke and in the ashes of cigarettes, which are not present when you use e-vape.
But it's still, to be honest with you, it's still like awful. I had a very awful cough while I was trying to use e-cigarettes. It was awful.
And there was a big story last year about people, I'm not sure if they were dying, but they were getting ill from the effects on their lungs. So they weren't the commercial, in fact, it wasn't commercial e-cigarettes. I think they were smoking cannabis e-cigarettes, which were using a resin, an oil, which clogged up their lungs, and that's what was causing the problem. But I guess, we don't know what the long-term effects are. So, but this thing about advertising, so they've said in response to the tobacco industry's systematic, aggressive and sustained tactics, World No Tobacco Day 2020 will provide a counter-marketing campaign and empower young people to engage in the fight against big tobacco. Well, I'm not sure how much money they're spending on marketing, but advertising costs a lot, and tobacco industry generates a lot of money, and they can afford to advertise. So I guess the amount of advertising that this World No Tobacco Day is generated compared to what the tobacco industry is generating is negligible, I would have thought. I'm not sure if it's having any real effect. And they list on this website, if I just share it again, so they list how tobacco and related industries are manipulating youth. And there's a lot.
Flavors, yeah.
Yeah.
Designs.
Promotion of products as reduced harm or clean alternatives, which I guess could include e-cigarettes.
E-cigarettes, exactly. Influencers, yeah.
Celebrity influencer sponsorship, brand sponsorship contests, point-of-sale marketing, sale of single-stick cigarettes and other tobacco and nicotine products near schools, indirect marketing of tobacco products in movies, TV shows and online.
Exactly.
Tobacco vending machines.
Not in this country.
As venues frequented by young people are more difficult. So, in the UK, if you're under whatever it is, 16, you can't buy cigarettes in a shop, but you can buy them from a vending machine. Well,
but I don't think that we have
many vending machines these days. But
Spain, Italy, Portugal.
Yeah, other countries do.
Yeah.
And so they have a call to action. The world cannot afford another generation deceived by the lies of the tobacco industry, which pretends to promote freedom of personal choice while really ensuring eternal profits, regardless of the millions of people who pay with their life each year. So it says, World Health Organization urges influencers in pop culture, social media, in the home or in the classroom, who reach out and connect with youth to expose the industry's manipulative tactics to create a new generation of tobacco users. We need to empower youth to stand up to big tobacco by dispelling its lies and refusing to use its product. So, I don't know if that's a result of that, but there are some Let's find the right window here. So here's one possible example of one result. In fact, this was 2018, so this isn't a direct result of anything they've done this year, but this is one possible example. Go for it. Say no to tobacco.
Say no to tobacco. Say no to tobacco.
Yeah, this is something else.
आज पते की बात सुनो बस छोड़ो तुम तंबाकू यहाँ वहाँ है प्यार बटा तुम बन बैठे हो डाकू बंदूक की गोली से ज्यादा गहरा है इसका घाव और हारोगे जब लगाओगे तुम तंबाकू पे दाव Say no to tobacco. No to tobacco. Say no to tobacco. Say no to tobacco.
It's very interesting.
So that's one example, and then there's another one somewhere. Yeah, there should be subtitles on this. But I think that's a good idea. If you get kids to sing or to write a song and sing about not smoking, that it might not stop any young kids smoking, but you know, it's a step in the right direction, I would have thought.
Also, like, I don't know, things like documentaries and all of that, and kind of trying to push it towards like a very, I don't know, bad thing to do around young people. Because to be honest with you, back in the day, it was actually promoted as a very cool thing to do. Well, you had the ladies who had like the big cigarette smoking in the bar, I don't know, with their partners, having fun, Great Gatsby, all of that thing. So it was not everyone had the access to cigarettes, and I guess only the rich, I cannot say that.
Aristocracy.
Yeah. That kind of level of people had access, and therefore that was a fancy thing to do.
Yeah.
But usually when, I mean, you see people from poor backgrounds smoking more than the rich ones that can afford, you know, the prices. So you see in the poor areas more smokers than the rich.
And in fact, I think that's still the same in the UK now. So poor people, I'm pretty sure poor people tend to smoke more and also drink more. So they, you know, you get a lot more, and their lives are shorter. And it could well be a consequence of their lifestyle, because they stick to the old-fashioned way of living, which is going to pubs and smoking, although even pubs these days in the UK don't allow you to smoke indoors, but you can still go outside. So, yeah. So I think there's a lot in what you say, that the working people still tend to stick to the old ideas and don't change rapidly. But I mean, I think that young people, even in the UK, are still. I mean, for me, when I started smoking, I was a bit older than you. I guess I was about 15, 16 or something. But it was because all the other young people, all the other boys that I was around with smoked. And if you didn't smoke, you seemed odd and out of place. And people like to belong, don't they?
Yeah.
So it's a peer thing, keeping up with your peers. But obviously that's a dangerous and stupid thing to do. But that's what young people do. They want to, young people especially want to belong. And I mean, I can remember kids at school who didn't join in, didn't belong, were bullied and were lonely, and I mean, just seemed pathetic if you didn't belong to some sort of group.
Yeah, kids usually are very mean when it comes to all of this. I don't know, it's just is it because of the education back home? Is it because they didn't have that much attention back home and everything kind of...
It certainly wasn't the case with me. I think it's part of growing up. So when you go through puberty and adolescence, I think this thing about, you know, peer relationships and forming bonding with other people of your age is part of, I think it's probably a genetic thing. That's how we are. That's how come we can live in tribes and not fight with the other people in our tribes, because we form these bonds. And I think that's still part of our genes, that because our behaviour to a large extent is genetic. You know, we don't always decide what we're going to do. I mean, I think that's has a lot to do with racial prejudice as well. You know, we tend to reject other people who are different, so a different colour or whatever. And I think it's, well, there's no doubt that racial prejudice is a terrible thing. It's a weakness, and it's something that human beings need to learn to overcome. But I think it's built into us somehow, and I'm not sure that it's culturally acquired. I don't really think we learn it from others. I think it's built into our genes, into our psychology somehow, and we need to overcome that. And it's the same with this copying the bad habits of our peers when we're adolescents. It's something we need to be taught or to be, you know, helped to overcome. Racial prejudice, again, is a huge problem, and we need to be helped to overcome that. Okay, so this is the World Health Organization's campaign for this year. So they're trying to stop children smoking. So the secret's out: if your product killed 8 million people each year, you'd also target a new generation. So they're trying to do something about tobacco companies replacing the people that they kill off by getting more. So there's a thing here: test your knowledge. Do you want to have a go at that?
Yeah.
What's the more addictive substance, nicotine or cocaine?
They are equally addictive. Yeah.
What do you think?
They are equally addictive.
You think they're equal?
I think so, yeah. Because
I would say nicotine's more addictive.
Is it?
But anyway, we'll go with your choice. I don't know, I'm guessing. Mm-hmm. Is smoking shisha hookah harmful to your health?
Yeah, obviously. It's still tobacco.
Are e-cigarettes and other vaping products harmful to your health?
Yes.
Which of these shows has the highest number of tobacco incidents on screen? The Walking Dead, Stranger Things, and Making a Murder. Do you know these things?
Stranger Things. No, probably Making a Murderer, because The Walking Dead, I don't think so.
I've never
don't
heard of
know.
any of them.
I don't know.
what they
No.
are. And I don't watch television, don't have time. Smokers are more likely to develop severe diseases with COVID-19 compared to
Yes.
non-smokers.
Yeah, it aims to the lungs. So yeah.
Well, I'm not sure. I think that there was something about smokers. I think there were fewer smokers getting COVID-19, I think. But whether they're likely to develop, I guess they did like develop more likely to develop severe diseases.
It's like respiratory, so I'm like just guessing that. Yeah.
But there was a story about fewer smokers having the disease proportionally.
I think it
Whether
was
that's
fake
because
news.
they died off or what, I don't know. I think that's people in hospital. Don't know. The tobacco industry brings financial gain by providing millions of jobs and taxes that government and people depend on.
True.
Okay, let's see what the result is. So they've got some ideas about how to stop the tobacco industry exploitation of children. So this was the 29th, so this was 2 days ago. It's launching a new kit for school students aged 13 to 17 to alert them to the tobacco industry tactics. So where's the kit? Blah, 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 toolkit. Here's the
Yeah.
toolkit.
Let's see. What is that kit?
So you can download. So I need to download this and include it with the...
No, this is a nice one.
It's a long document now. I'm not sure if it's aimed for children or teachers. Okay, Elena, thank you very much. That's been interesting, hasn't it?
Mm-hmm. It was amazing. Thank you. No, I thank you.
Okay, thank you for your time and good luck with all your projects.